Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon from the beautiful city of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. How are you all doing? Trust we're all good. Who is here with me today? Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. Remember that I'm your personal guide on the journey of growth. I don't just guide you on this journey. I take you by the hand and I go on the journey of growth with you. So, who is here with me this afternoon? Introduce yourself to me. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you have joined me this wonderful day. Yes, this is once again Growth Habits. My name is Ngozi. We've been on this journey for 45 sessions now, I believe. I think this is the 46th session. I believe so. I believe this is the 46th session. I will confirm. But we've been on this journey for 45 sessions. That's approximately 45 weeks. Yeah, but okay, it's less than that actually, because initially we were doing it twice in a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, before we went to once a week. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We started the series on ethics some weeks back. It's been an eye opener. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. We've had some very good discussions. We've just had a good time. We've enjoyed ourselves. So, just a second, I want to confirm that I am being heard because sometimes um, I might not be heard. So, let me just check if I am being heard. Okay. So, welcome. All right. Welcome. So, yeah. Welcome. We just check. Okay. So, yes, I can hear myself. Okay. So, all right, that's good. So, welcome once again to Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're here every Tuesday, 12 noon, right here on Facebook. Yes, we started the series on ethics some weeks back. And like I said, it's been a ride. It's been an interesting time. I've had discussions that were quite eye-opening. People have contributed things that probably, helped me see things in where I didn't think, before, which is why I say that I go on this journey with you. I don't just leave you or lead you. I actually go on the journey. So as I'm talking, I'm learning. As you're asking questions, I'm learning. As you're contributing, I am learning. Well, we are learning together. All right. So as is usual, I do a recap of what we have done in the past weeks. So I'm just going to quickly recap what we have done concerning ethics, the things we have looked at concerning ethics. And in the first session on this series of ethics, we just defined ethics to know what it is, what it is talking about. Please remember, once you join, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're joining from. Let it not be like last week, where I couldn't see if anybody joined, but I saw that people joined later. So I don't know what was happening that last week. So we started with a discussion on ethics, as I said, and we agreed that from definition, that ethics comes from the word ethos, the Greek word ethos. And ethos is just a way of life. That's what it means. A way of living. A way of living. And we agreed that ethics has to do with right or wrong. Right or wrong in your behavior, in your relationship with people. That is what ethics is all about. And we said that there are some basic principles of ethics that you will find them on whatever branch of ethics you're talking about. Whichever branch of ethics, you will see these basic things enshrined in it. And those basic things were integrity, respect of persons, personal accountability, fairness, and responsibility. These were the things that, the basic principles of ethics that we talked about. And as we have gone on, we found that in all the branches of ethics we have looked at, these things were there. These things were part of it in different ways because, of course, when you're talking about personal ethics, it won't be the same thing as business or workplace ethics. Okay, so that was our first session on ethics. Onyinye Onwuchiloba, welcome. I'm glad you joined me this afternoon. I'm so glad to have you here. You see, like I was saying, it's showing me that there's no one here, but I see a message that says Onyinye is watching. I don't know what's happening, but all right, let's go on. All right, so the next session we talked about personal ethics because you can't talk about maybe business ethics or workplace ethics when you have not dealt with yourself, dealt with your own ethics. What do you believe? And we agreed that personal ethics refers to what you believe, how what you identify with regards to people, with regards to situations that you meet in your everyday life. How do you or what do you agree? Let me use that expression. What do you agree? What do you accept as your standards of behavior towards people, towards situations? That is your personal ethics. What do you believe? We talked about the different aspects of personal ethics too. We mentioned one or two things, and of course, we mentioned honesty, we mentioned loyalty, we mentioned integrity. Integrity is one thing that will definitely, even if nothing else, cuts across all the other branches of ethics. Integrity does. And we said that integrity is not just being honest, because you can say that honesty is also on this list. So it's not just about being honest, it's about being true, even when no one is seeing it. It's about being fair, being, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just honesty. Yes, you tell the truth. You will not tell lies. You will tell the truth. But you do these things even when no one is seeing you. It's about being fair. It's about being just, being a person of integrity. And as we saw throughout the series, that integrity is key in everything. It's key in your personal ethics. It's key in professional ethics. It's key in business ethics. It's key in workplace ethics. In all of them, we saw integrity enshrined in all of them. Another principle we looked at for personal ethics is selflessness. So we agree that in personal ethics, you choose really. Nobody can force you to have a certain set of ethical beliefs. No, they're your choice. You choose what your ethical beliefs are. But when you choose it, you have to stick with it. You have to stick with it. If you have said that one of your personal ethics is selflessness, not selfishness, selflessness, if that's what you have chosen, one of the things you have chosen as your personal ethics, then you stick with it. Integrity, you stick with it. Loyalty, you stick with it. It's the ability to stick with these ethical beliefs that is more important actually than just having the beliefs. Many of us have the ethical beliefs, but we don't stick with them. Okay. In our next session, we talked about professional ethics. And this just refers to behavior principles or behaviors that apply to a group of persons, like in a profession, accountants, lawyers, doctors, those different professions. They all have ethics that govern that profession. They all have ethics that govern how members are meant to behave, how members are meant to interact. So, and we looked through a couple of professions, code of conduct, code of ethics, to try and pick up one or two things that is there. And we still found integrity in just about every profession, truly. That was a little bit surprising for me, because when when you look at how people operate in these professions, you don't see a lot of times integrity, but integrity is enshrined in just about every profession's code of ethics. Honestly, integrity is there. Of course, we also looked at confidentiality, that's keeping your client's information private as a professional. Yeah. And we talked about professional competence. Don't just not know your onions. You have to know your onions. Whatever is that profession that you're involved in, one of the ethics that is expected, or ethical behaviors that is expected of you, is that you will exercise professional competence. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have the necessary knowledge, the necessary skills to carry out the work or the role in that profession. Of course, they talked about accountability in most of them, legal compliance, ensure that you obey the law. And continuous improvement was another thing that I saw in the ethics and ethical code of most professions. They expect you to keep improving. It's assumed that if you're practicing in that profession, you have to keep improving. Okay. So our next session, after we spoke about professional ethics, we looked at workplace ethics. Now, this is not like the professional ethics that has to do with the area. Like, for example, I'm an accountant, so I should follow the ethics of accounting. This is, you are working in an office. What is expected of you ethically in that office? Whether you are the cleaner, you are the accountant, you are the HR, your CEO, whatever. Those were the things we looked at in workplace ethics. And we said that workplace ethics generally has two aspects. One is the employee's aspect. The other one is what is expected of the company itself. But on that day, we dealt mostly with what is expected of the employee. And one of the key things that we pointed out was punctuality. Punctuality. This has always been an issue in Nigeria, that we are late. In fact, it's not just, well, from my understanding, it's an African problem, because we say African time. We fix an occasion and we say African time, which means we're expecting people to come late. So punctuality seems to be not, our thing in this part of the world, but it is critical. Because when you don't go for meetings early, when you don't go for appointments early, you tell the person that fixed that meeting or that fixed that appointment that they're not important. Their time is not important to you. That is what you're telling them. Full stop. They're telling them that their time, you have no respect for their time. And so when you come to work late, you're also telling your boss, telling your organization that you have no respect for their time. It's not important to you. You don't have any value for their time. That's why you go late. So we talked about punctuality. We talked about accountability. We talked about taking initiative. Even when that initiative is not appreciated, go ahead and take the initiative. Go ahead and do what needs to be done. Just do it. Even when it's not appreciated. In the future, it will be appreciated. But most times we're not ready to wait for that future time. We want the appreciation today. We want them to notice today. We want everything now. But, sometimes it happens, but a lot of times it does not. So take the initiative. Do that good thing you have seen for the place you are working. You don't have to wait for your boss. Always, if you see something that needs to be done and is good for the business, it will lead to the growth of that business, go ahead and initiate it. So show initiative. Of course, professionalism. You don't go to work and behave anyhow. Be a professional. Then another thing we talked about that day was a desire to improve. It's not enough that you were employed as XYZ in the company. Since you were employed, what have you done to improve yourself? These are the expectations, that when you get into an office space, you don't remain where you are. You came in with BSc accountancy, for example. What's next? Did you bother to maybe write the professional exams to become a chartered accountant? Even if you don't go that route, do you take courses that will improve your work, that will make you a better employee? That is a desire to improve. Very, very important. Very, very key. We briefly talked about the aspect from the aspect of the company when we talked about workplace ethics, but um, installment, in the next installment, we now talked about business ethics. And it was in business ethics we concentrated on what is expected of the company itself, what is expected of the business itself. And we looked at business ethics, basically looking at the standards of moral behavior or conduct that a business imbibes, that a business takes on. And we said that one, it is essential that a business has an ethical stand, has ethical principles that they align to. It is very important that they do that. And not only that, they have to make it known. They have to either put it in writing or make it in such a way that the employees are aware. It's not enough that the company has an ethical stand and nobody knows. It basically makes no sense, really. So it has to be passed across. And then we also said that it has to start from the top. You cannot say that your business stands for honesty and integrity, and you, as the CEO, you're not honest, you're not a person of integrity. Then what are we doing? Why would you even bother to say that your business has some ethical stands when you, who is at the top, you're not exhibiting those ethical behaviors? Okay, so we also looked at some basic principles, some areas that is expected that a business should show ethical behavior. Of course, honesty once again, fairness, integrity, leadership. Leadership. This I emphasized on that time because it is critical that those who are at the helm of affairs uphold these ethical standards. So leadership was one of the principles of business ethics. Integrity, as I said, always there, always present. Responsibility, law abiding, these were all the principles of ethics we talked about under business ethics. So, all right, we have done our recap of all that we have done, and today is going to be the last one of this series on ethics. Next week we'll have like a question and answer session. In case you have any questions, you have something you want to ask about, please send me the questions ahead if you can. It always makes it easier when you send the questions ahead and I just address them. But if you still come with your questions next week, I will still, to the best of my knowledge, attempt to answer your questions. So today we want to talk about social ethics. And I chose to, let's say, go in a different direction a little bit, because social ethics is not quite just about manners or etiquette, but I chose to go the path of manners and etiquette, because I have seen that generally we don't have manners. We don't agree, but we don't we don't have manners. Okay, let me give us an example. Today, someone delivered something to me, but he called me on the phone and I was having my bath when he called. So of course I did not pick the call. I didn't even know. As I came out, I saw the missed call and began to call him back. When I finally got him after several attempts, because obviously he too was on the phone, busy calling other people. He has a lot of things to deliver. When I finally got him on the phone, hello, good morning. How may I help you? He explained, oh, from this delivery company, I have a package for you. I said, okay, no problem. The next thing he said, please, he didn't say please. He said, hold your phone so that when I call you, you pick. In my head, I was like, I don't blame you. But what I said was, yes, sir. That was what I told him. Uzo Koli, welcome. I'm glad you joined me this afternoon. I hope you're having a good day where you are. Okay, so I told him, yes, sir. And he dropped the call. He didn't even notice the sarcasm in the yes and nothing. He dropped the call. So when he came to give me the package when he finally called to deliver the package. And I'm looking at this small boy, honestly. I'm looking at this move, I'm like, even if you thought I was one young girl, you could have said, please hold your phone. You didn't have to command me to hold my phone. So when he came, I said, oh, you are the person that commanded me to hold my phone. You can see that I'm holding the phone. He laughed. He laughed, but he was now, is it withdrawn? I don't know the word to use, but he felt somehow that, first of all, he saw my white hair. This my white hair makes people think I'm very, very old. He saw my white hair. So that was the first. So immediately he came out and saw me. You could see the little, is this the person that is collecting this package? So that was the first thing. And then I told him, oh, you are the person that commanded me to hold my phone. He apologized. But the point is, ordinarily, someone that's rendering service even should be courteous. Should be courteous. There is, if he had said, after telling me he's from so and so logistic company, he could have said, please, ma'am, hold your phone so that I can reach you when I'm close to you. I mean, that passes across the information he wanted to, without appearing rude, without sounding commanding like he did on the phone. Because he just told me, hold your phone so that I can reach you. Like, yes, sir. So, in fact, as that drama was playing out this morning, I'm like, you see, this topic I chose to talk about today is very, very important, because we have a complete and total lack of manners. And social ethics has to do with the principles that a group of people have decided to reference in order for them to be accepted as a people. A lot of times we say it's culture. We can relate it to, like, this is the culture of these people. But I don't want to, like I said, I didn't want to go that route, because there are so many different cultures in the world. There are so many things that might be acceptable here and not acceptable in another place. And that is why I chose to go the route of manners and etiquette, because these are generally accepted principles of good behavior. Generally accepted principles of right behavior. They are things that, whether you are in America or you're in the UK or you're in Nigeria, they apply. They apply. Okay, so I found that there are three basic principles first, before I now break them down to the expectations, whether I'll call them that. So there are three basic principles of good behavior, of manners, of etiquette. One is respect. Respect. Acknowledge that the other person has some worth. If that young man accorded me even the slightest respect, it doesn't matter whether I'm his senior, I'm his junior, I'm whatever, is not even the point. If he accorded me some respect as a human being, he would have spoken with less rudeness. And he would have still passed across the information. He was still ensured that I had my phone on me. But that is just the information he was trying to pass across, right? Just to make sure that I have my phone, and when he calls, I won't miss the call, and maybe he won't know how to get to where I am. So, respect. Basic respect. There's another thing. We pride ourselves in this part of the world that we are respectful. But I found that we're actually not respectful. We try to respect our elders. We greet our elders, but we don't respect people of either the same age or the same status, or people who are below us. We have zero respect in that aspect, this side of the world. Even the people, the white people, we say they don't have respect, they don't know who's their elders. They at times seem to be more respectful of people generally. Respect of people, seeing that each person is worth something, even if the person is beneath you, however you want to assess that. The person is younger than you, they deserve a level of respect. The person is maybe beneath you on your social scale in your own assessment. You still have to treat that person with respect. Respect. As a human being, it's not about saying good morning. Because we think that is where it ends. For most of us, that is where respect ends. We say good morning. If you're of the Yoruba tribe, we bow, all those things. That is not the extent of respect. It's speaking to people like they are people. And speaking to people believing that they have some worth and not being rude. Okay, so respect is one basic and accepted principle of good manners, of etiquette. One of the ways we can show respect to people really is when somebody is talking, you pay attention. I've seen this over and over and over, and it bothers me. You're talking to someone and it's clear, very clear that this person is not paying attention to you. Why? Okay, Uzo says it's orientation. When we are out of Nigeria, we toe the line, but once back home, we forget everything. I don't know why that happens. I really don't know why that happens. She's very correct. When you are abroad, people, hello, hi, ma'am. They call people ma'am a lot. And you see a Nigerian will be in that America and be ma'aming everybody, whether younger, older, whatever. But you come back to Nigeria, you start being, raising shoulder. What are you raising shoulder for? This person is a human being just like you. You're walking and you push someone as you're walking. You can't even say, excuse me, or I'm sorry. You just keep on walking. These are the basic little things. Another way to show someone respect that somebody is talking and you don't just interrupt. You don't just interrupt when somebody's speaking. It's just wrong. There is a way to cut into someone's discussion. You either allow them to finish their train of thought, because sometimes when you interrupt and cut it, the person loses their train of thought. So you either allow them to finish that train of thought, or you can, I'm even trying, to me, really the best is to allow people to finish their train of thought. I don't know, or if maybe this thing you have to say is so important, so critical, that if you don't say it now, you self might lose your train of thought. You can say, please excuse me just a second. There's something I need to say. But we don't bother with that, please. We don't bother with the excuse me. We don't. We just jump in, cut in, interrupt the person. That is not, it's not my good manners, it's not etiquette, it's not ethics, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And of course, talking down on people. Help me, Lord. We talk down so much on people, especially when we think we are above them on the social strata. Why would you have, let me say, for example, the security man at your gate? You see them in the morning. You must not greet your security man anywhere, but even if you do greet, will your life change? If you do say good morning to the person, or as you're passing, you say, how are you? How are things with? Basic little. We don't. We are, Oga, Madam, too much. Regina Obiago, welcome. Regina Obiago is my mom. Welcome. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm glad you're here. So that is respect. The second principle of etiquette or manners is consideration. Consideration. Putting yourself to an extent in other people's shoes. Having empathy for the next person. Just trying to understand what somebody else is going through before you do whatever you want to do, before you say whatever you want to say to that person. Sometimes people are going through a lot. They are carrying loads. And then you jump out and you add to their load by something you say. If you had considered for 1 second maybe you won't have said it. So consideration, even just saying please, thank you, excuse me, those are, there are ways to show consideration to someone. Please, excuse me, thank you. Simple, but we find it difficult to do. Offering to help people, I mean, these are just basic things. They seem basic, but I don't know why we struggle with them. The third principle is honesty. Honesty again is here. Honesty, being truthful, being sincere. Don't pretend with people, really. Don't pretend. What's the need? Be truthful with people. But, there's another thing we do. We say we are, have to tell it as it is. Yes, you shouldn't lie. But there is a way to tell it as it is without hurting the person that you're telling. Be considerate enough to find how to tell that person as it is. So be honest, be real with people, be sincere with people, act with integrity when dealing with people. Don't gossip about someone. Just don't. There's no other way to put that one. Just don't. Don't lie. Don't lie. Tell the truth. I want to say as much as lies within us, but I'm wondering how much of it lies within us. So just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Be accountable for your actions. Be accountable for your actions. Okay, so now I'm going to move straight to give us some rules of etiquette and good behavior. Good manners. When I say good behavior, I don't think that's words. Good manners. So I'm just going to go straight and mention a couple of them that are generally accepted. These are not because you're from here or because you're from the other place. No. Dennis, our welcome. Good afternoon, sir. Sozo says, do not be vindictive and condescending while correcting someone. Yes. We can correct people and they come out of that time of correction smiling, happy, thanking you for the correction. I don't know why we feel this need to, when we correct people, they should leave that place down in the dumps because we corrected them. Why? It doesn't really achieve the aim you're trying to get to. The person does not come out of that experience wanting to change most times. So let's learn how to correct people right. Okay, so sorry. Network for a second there took me off. So I'm back. I hope I'm back. Please let me know if you can hear me. The network went off for just a couple of minutes. So can you hear me? Please let me know. Am I audible? Is anybody still here? Can we hear me? Okay, I get, yes, Ozo is okay. Yes, thank you. All right, so I was, okay, yes, okay, I can see. All right, thank you very much for letting me know that I'm still audible. Dennis Awa says, honesty is key. Truly, it is. I don't know how else to say this thing. I don't know how else, but it's very, very important that we tell people the truth. Very important. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple of rules of etiquette and good manners for us so that we pick up the ones we can and practice. All right, number one. This one, I think we are quite good at it here in this part of the world, using proper greetings. We are quite good at it, as per good morning, ma, good morning, sir. But I want to add to that, it's not just the ma or the sir that you're adding to the greeting that makes it proper. It's even the smile that you add to it. It's even the fact, I mean, what is the need that good morning, ma? Why would I even see the goodness of the morning? Would I really be excited to receive a greeting from you that your face is looking like they are forcing you to greet me? Why bother? So Proper greetings. Add the ma, add the sir if the person, is your senior. If the person you are not sure, put ma'am for the lady. You can still say sir for the man if you want, but smile, smile, smile. In fact, I'm purposefully emphasizing the smile. Smile when you greet people. It's not hard. Just the smile doesn't have to be like this. You could just, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. See, my eyes are smiling, even though my mouth is not smiling fully. Put a smile in your eyes. Put a smile in your eyes. People, when you greet me and your face is looking like they are forcing you to give that greeting, I don't even know how to receive the greeting. So, proper greeting. And as much as possible, let's say not your mother or father or uncle, but you are meeting someone new, look into the person's eye. We find it difficult to look into people's eyes in this part of the world because I think we are trained, especially if the person is your senior, don't look into their eyes, is a sign of disrespect. But I think that teaching has made us, we're a bit timid when we now meet outsiders. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. When we meet outsiders, you need to look people in the eyes. When you look people in the eyes, give them the impression that one, you're paying attention to them. Two, that whatever you're going to say is going to be sincere. Because it's really hard. I don't know if we have tried it. It's hard unless you're a hardened liar. It's hard to lie while you're looking somebody in the eye. So generally, look people in the eye when you greet them. Proper greeting. Number 2, say please and thank you. See, we teach our children these things. We sing it as songs for them. But we, the adults, we find it hard to do. I watch a lot of these children's programs because, when I visit my brother, his children watch all this Miss Rachel, all these things. What's the name of this one that is so... I even dance along with the girl. I've forgotten her name. But in those programs, they teach children how to say please and thank you. But we as adults, we don't know how to say please and thank you. I want someone to do something for me. It doesn't matter whether the person is my senior, junior, whatever. I should say please. Just like the example I gave of the logistics person that called me this morning. All he had to say is, please, ma, hold your phone or be near your phone. Just the addition of please changes that whole sentence, changes the feel. The please is not please or hold your phone. It's not that type. But please, ma, hold your phone or be near your phone. So please and thank you. It seems basic. It seems simple enough, but we struggle with it. I have seen it around and it baffles me. So let's say please and thank you. Please and thank you. Someone does something for you. Look, people are always shocked. I don't even know why. Well, I guess I know why. Like, let's assume I went to buy something. And, I finished transacting. You give me my things. I say thank you. Most of them are looking at me like, huh? Why is this woman telling me thank you? I mean, or you helped me even carry my things to my car. As you drop it, I say thank you. They're looking at me weird because they're not used to it. Yes, I paid you for the service, but still, please, thank you. Good manners, good etiquette. I don't want to talk about table manners because I will not be able to demonstrate the table manners, but at least let's try and the basic one of chewing with our mouths closed. Chewing with our mouths closed as much as possible. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is be mindful of your language. Be mindful of what you say. Be polite in your expressions. Be polite in the words and be respectful in the words that you speak. So you see now, we talked about proper greeting. Oh, good morning, ma. That is okay. You bow, good. But when you're dealing with your equal, let me say, or someone that's beneath you, as you know, in quote, I'm using the beneath in quote. Be polite. Be polite. There is really nothing to be gained by being rude to people. You only create problems because when you are rude to somebody, the person is upset. So you've not even done any, maybe even the assignment you're giving the person will just do it anyhow. Because, I mean, why are you disturbing my life? I don't know if you understand. So be mindful of your language. The next thing is to respect people's personal space. Respect people's personal space. When I meet, especially when I meet people for the first time, and maybe I need to greet you as somebody I meet, I am watching your body language. Before I even extend my hand to shake you or anything, I am watching your body language. Are you receptive to this one? Okay, like Oyibo people, they like to hug. Some people are just huggers. But even at that, you see, that is why I said that we claim we have more respect than them, but sometimes I think they have more respect than us. When you meet someone like, they're abroad, as they say, they're abroad. Yes. When you meet someone and the person wants to give you a hug, they will ask permission. They don't just walk into your personal space and begin to hug you. They don't. They actually ask permission. Can I give you a hug? Is it because if I just walk in and hug you, you will beat me? Probably you will not. But courtesy demands that we don't just invade people's private spaces. Don't just walk into my private space and behave anyhow. Don't just, you see me and you just maybe, I don't want to use the hug again, but just come and you want to give me a hug. Like I say, when I meet people, I gauge your body language to know whether it's a handshake, a side hug, a full, whichever one. I gauge your personal body language so that I don't intrude on your personal space. Or you come, okay, for like somebody like me, I don't mind that you visit me and you come into the kitchen and stay with me if I'm there. I really don't mind, but some people, they mind it. So no, find out. Some people, you can't come into their kitchen unless you are very close to them. Find out. Be conscious of people's space. I don't even know how else to put this one. Be conscious of people's personal space. Now, if I walk into my daughter's room, for example, ordinarily, I'm the mother. I should be able to just walk in there, sit down anywhere, do whatever I want and walk out. Is my house. But no. No. If she has some, rules now of how she wants things done, I, even as the mother, when I walk into her room, I should abide by those rules because this is her personal space. It's her personal space. This is not saying that you should allow, maybe if the person is a slob for your child though, and doesn't clean or is very lazy, doesn't arrange their room, you will not go in there and tell them to arrange their rooms. Of course, you will. But even in doing that, be conscious of their personal space. This one. So many people have invaded my personal space and I have to keep pushing them away. You don't just walk, you can't. It's not proper. Get permission from the person. Whether verbally, do you know you can get permission from me without saying a word? Truly. If you observe me well, as I'm meeting you. You would know whether you should shake my hand. You would know whether I'll be open to a hug, a side hug, and you would know whether you should even talk to me at that point, truly. But we are not observant. We are not considerate of others. We're only interested in ourselves. I'm a hugger, so everybody I see, I hug them. No, no, don't. So be conscious of people's personal space. Be conscious of people's personal space. The next thing I want to talk about is being good listeners. We love to talk as a people, but we don't listen. Even when we listen, I like to put it this way: we hear. We hear what people are saying, but we're not listening to what they are saying. Our ears are working, so we hear it. The sounds that they are making is coming into our ears. It even gets to our brain. The sound waves, they get to our brain, and we make sense of the words that they are speaking. But we're not listening. Because, one, we interrupt the person as they are speaking, so we don't get the full information, sir. One, we don't get the full information. Two, we're only listening to get the next thing we're going to say. You have not truly listened to the person. Because when you truly listen to people, you will sense their hurts. You will sense where they are at that moment. You will sense their mental state before you know what to say. But many, we don't. We don't. We hear what people are saying. The sounds get to our ear for sure. They get to our ear. Our brain processes the sounds to make sense of the words. But we don't even give a thought to what the person has said. So be a good listener. Be good listeners. Be considerate of people's opinions. You're not always right. You're not always right. Be considerate of people's opinions. Pay attention to what they are saying to you. Don't always. There's something I see some people do. Like if I come to you, now maybe I have a complaint. I have something I'm trying to tell you, and I try to describe my situation. You quickly tell me how it happened to the other person and how the other person dealt with it. No, I am telling you so that you listen to me first. Yes, be an attentive listener. Listen to me first. That it happened to the other person does not mean the situation is exactly the same. There might be some slight differences between the experience of the other person or your own experience and mine. And if you don't listen properly, you will not hear those small differences. You will not hear my pain points. And because you did not hear my pain points, you can't truly answer me. You can't truly answer me. Okay, so listen to people. Like, sorry, someone called and they cut off the transmission for just a second. So these things, they look simple. They actually look very simple. But many of us, we don't do them. And because we don't practice a lot of these things, we have relationships that are just, they're not working. Whether the relationship is with your husband, with your children, with your colleagues in the office, with the stranger you meet on the road, in your church setting, wherever, apply these good manners. This is generally accepted. This is not is only accepted in America, not in Nigeria. No, I purposely picked the ones that are generally accepted. I did not want to do the ones that are culture specific because, whose culture will I take and whose will I drop? So, listening to people, be an attentive listener. Practice good communication. Practice good communication. I was conducting some interviews yesterday, and I asked, was for accounting personnel, and I asked them to explain some basic accounting principles to me, and they were struggling. I told them that the proof that you understand a principle is that you're able to explain that principle to a 5-year-old and he would understand what you're saying. We must practice good communication. We must practice effective communication. We must ensure that whatever we are trying to say, people are able to understand it. In fact, make sure that thing you're trying to pass across, if you were telling it to a 5-year-old, he would understand, would grasp what you're trying to say. That has been one of the best things I learned about communication. So whatever I want to pass across, I have to ensure that it is understood. So I have to always look for the most simplified way to pass it across without appearing to be, to not know what I'm saying. So practice good, clear, concise communication. We are too verbose as a people. We like to add too many things when we're explaining something. When we're communicating to someone, we want to appear as if we know grammar. What am I doing with the grammar if after you spoke the whole grammar I understood nothing? So practice clear, concise communication. Yes, Uzo says use simple words, not jargons or words that an average person cannot understand. If I don't understand what you have said, you have not communicated. You've made noise. That is actually what it is called, noise. So practice clear, concise communication. Avoid jargons. Unless you're writing a technical paper, then you can use all the jargon. But as long as you're communicating with someone else, please drop the jargon. Drop the jargon. Be mindful of who the people or the person you're talking to ensure that they understand what you are saying. At the same time, be mindful of your body language, because sometimes we say more with our body language than we say with our words. So ensure that your words match your body language as you're practicing this concise and clear communication. Make sure that your body language is matching what you're saying. Okay. And I think I will end on this note this afternoon, and that is by telling us that the last principle, I'm calling it, of good manners, etiquette, social ethics is punctuality. I'm a stickler for this. Punctuality. See, as I said, when you're punctual, you show people that you value their time. But when you are late for everything, you show people that you don't value their time. So punctuality. Show respect for people's time. Show respect for people's time. Be on time for appointments. Be on time for meetings. If you're running late for any reason, let the person know ahead of time. Let the person know ahead of time. Otherwise, you're just telling the person, I could care less about you or your time. Kelechi, welcome. Good afternoon. I'm glad you joined me this afternoon. So, be punctual. Be on time. If you have a meeting that's starting by, say, 1 o'clock, ensure that the latest you get to the venue of that meeting is 12:55. That should be your latest. In fact, they've known me and my husband in full gospel. If you invite us to your chapter, better make sure you're there on time, because most times we wind up coming before every other person. So be punctual. Come early. I don't even know why people don't like that. Like, for me, if I'm going to, let's say, for a meeting, that 5 minutes, 3 minutes of, what's the word now? Just calming down after the stress of either driving or the road or whatever, getting to the venue of the meeting. That 3 minutes, for me, it is gold before I get into the grind of the program of whatever it is that I have to do. So come early, be punctual, value people's times, respect people's time. Remember that when you go late, you're telling the person that their time is not valuable to you. Their time is worth nothing to you. Yes. So, with that, I come to the end of this session on social ethics. As I said, I chose to go the route of good manners and etiquette, as it's called, instead of just talking about social ethics as it relates to maybe people's culture and social interactions. If we can imbibe these good manners, this etiquette, there is nowhere in the world we will go that we will not be able to function. There is nobody we will meet that will not be able to interact with if we have this basic good manners, basic etiquette. So thank you once again for joining me this afternoon on Growth Habits with Ngozi. It's always a pleasure to share this 1 hour with you. It's always a pleasure. So thank you all once again for joining. I hope I did it right this time. There should be a poll. I believe there should be a poll that's going with this live session. If it's not showing, I guess I'll have to look for how to redo it. But I want to give us the option of choosing what we should talk about next. Remember that next week is our question and answer session on the things we have dealt with ethics. So if you have any questions, you have a scenario you want us to discuss, you want whatever on what we have discussed so far, please either send them ahead to me. You can send it on my DM or put it up on the Growth Habits group, whichever way, so that we can look at it next week. And then if that poll is showing, please go ahead and vote and tell me what you would want us to talk about in our next series. But even if the poll is not showing, if I didn't get the things right and it's not showing, please just tell me in the comments what you would want us to talk about next. I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but I want to give us that privilege. If we suggest some topics, maybe I'll take them next. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles. You guys are not engaging. Please engage. Follow us on all our social media handles. Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We have a Facebook group. Everywhere. Growth Habits with Ngozi. We're on Instagram. So follow us on all our social media handles. Tell your friends. Let's grow the YouTube channel. Tell your friends to subscribe. You subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Join the Facebook group. Join. Tell your friends about it. Invite your friends. Let's grow this community. Because as we are growing, it will reach all of us. We are all growing in every aspect of life together. So thank you all once again for joining me. I'm glad you all came out today. Those that are going to watch on the replay, thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your coming out. So remember to make today count. Be valuable and grow. Thank you for joining me and have an awesome day. Bye.